Duke of Shamula Production, telling our stories through performances, telling the untold stories of history. Duke of Shamula Production is a prestigious playwright and historic biographic stage play platform, one of Nigeria's fastest growing theatre company, which is a force designed to tell the Nigerian and African historic stories, including biographies and autobiographies of heroes. Gifted and talented young people gathered to sell their craft for a spot on the Ufok Ibaan production. This many faces, the strength of energy, the glee in their eyes. But what makes one get on board? Speaking with the Chief Operations Officer during the auditions, how that would love to speak with a couple of the attendees in light of what roles they thought they'd play. And like he rightly said, we never can fully tell who can make it through to the stage playing what roles.
Nothing good in life comes easy, it comes on a platter. Do you understand? We couldn't carry everybody, we can't carry 500 people. Do you understand? They are all fantastic people, but we can't carry 500 people.
Fight to get a jersey. In coming to Akwa Ibom on the 26th of November, I decided I wanted to come in early, that I may be able to get the best people. So we held an audition on the 28th, 29th, and we had several people who came to see the show, who came for the audition. And when they came, selection process started, and I'm the kind of person that I follow the footstep of Olarotimi when it comes to crowd. I find out that using crowd to tell your story, especially when it's epic, it drives home the message. Not just that, it also drives home the strength.
Auditions was quite stressful. I would like come in and then we're asked to dance, sing and act, and then when you're good in one, you're not good in this other one, so you try to like build up yourself. And then after that, we started rehearsals where we come by 8 o'clock to 5 p.m.
Rehearsals started intensively on the 1st of December, investing upwards of 10 hours daily in order for the cast to get attuned to their roles and script. From the choreography to the acting, there was an expectation, and this got fine-tuned daily by the mastery of the director William Benson.
Stop. Why the death is purpose. A purpose-driven life will never miss. But you young children, fire! I'm going to me. I'm going to job. Practicing operation. Are you getting it? The secret, don't tell them. I'm never angry, but I play like I'm angry. When I do that, is to keep them in check. because the more you play with them, they get too comfortable.
That's what they're doing in their movement. Yeah? Let's go.
Well, Dr. Mbere Fiemi, taking a major role of Madia Odoma. It's excited going through those rehearsals. I feel so good working with my supposed husband on the play, Mr. Okombas. It's excited working with him. If you work with him, he will spoil you to do better than you are. I've worked with a director before, William Benson. He's one unique person. Shout out to you, bully you, but wants you to come out the best. I love his creativity too.
I chose the Christian faith and shun the gods of my husband.
Hey guys, I am actor Basi Okonbasi. I am a cast member here in this historic dramatization of the play Ufok Ibaan. I am playing the role of a narrator and also playing the role of Chief Obonginam Udoma.
Approximately 30 days and 300 hours of rehearsal. The crew commended on how well taken care of they were, and that throughout the period there were little or no injurious events. The director and his choice cast had such depth of uniqueness as visible from the rehearsals culminating into a beautiful final performance every day for 3 days.
That's the law.
With all cast and crew bringing to table their energy and fineness to the director's vision. The director, who visibly poured out himself and his skill set, got the cast and crew ramped up as they lauded his efforts, teaching style and grace on the director's desk.
I must say this of the director, playwright and director, William Benson. He's an amazing man and he is a son of God.
I'm an actor, a playwright, a producer. I've been doing this for a long time, and my working with Joseph Edgar or partnering with him for 4 years counting brought us through the tide of Loud Whispers, which was his first play we did. And Loud Whispers is a recount or a retelling or activism that you usually find with Joseph Edgar in these days, his rant in these days. So I turned it into a drama piece. And aside that, we've done other plays like Isaleko, Oba Ishubayi, Ibiom, Emotin. Now we have Ufok Ibaan.
One can say rehearsing is more than half the journey into a good stage work.
Good day everyone, my name is Foluke Edgar. I'm the MD, CEO of Duke of Shomolu Production. And in Duke of Shomolu Production, we're into stage play. We produce stage play. Most especially historic ones, biographic ones about icons, people that have touched lives in Nigeria. And we are now in Akwa Ibom. We did Ibiom last year, and then this year we got a story about Ufok Ibaan, about women, the uprising, and we did some research. We found out that it's a good story to come out with. It's not something that comes very easily, but then because of our pedigree, we have some reliable sponsors like MTN, First Bank, You know, they're into art, they support art, so they support us, giving us fundings that we need. And then the states too, you know, by telling us, giving us information, access to history in Akwa Ibom. And then that's how we start. Now we look for indigenous, real like young ladies, men, maybe from the school, you know, because we want to impact in their life. We want them to know more about the culture. Actually, you know, the Duke of Shomolu production, we love to educate young ones, the younger generation. We're trying to make them know that Akwa Ibom has a rich, very rich culture.
Duke of Shomolu production has a dream and a goal. How are they able to actualize this year in, year out? Leading the technical push for Ufok Ibaan, Mofoluwake Mabong Joseph Edgar, the Duchess of Shomolu, who is the Managing Director CEO of Duke of Shomolu Production, shared a snippet of the DOS story and strides to actualizing this play.
You can go into politics, you can do anything. Imagine the story of Ufok Ibaan is about tax, 1929, long time ago. So imagine someone that's 20 years old, 25, they can't really read as much, you know, and all. The environment has changed. But seeing it, acting it out, makes a permanent impact. And so a girl child will know that, okay, so I can do this. I can be involved. I can do things. Not, you know, women are seen and not heard.
My God, let us reason together now.
It's D-Day, the pomp and grace filling the air as Akwa Ibom sons and daughters begin to fill the theater for the opening show.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Please, what's your name?
No, Udoma Enyang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this your first time to witness the Duke of Shomolu's production?
Yes.
This is your first time?
Yes, it
You've
is.
not seen anyone before?
No, I haven't been to watch anyone before.
Wow. How has it been so far? They're running up and down. I heard you on the radio.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I was just coming to your house. I was just coming. Hey, thank God I met you on the road. Oh. Hey, to make it hot into my area. Hey, my sister. I came here today that the women are going for war. You know the tax rate that the white man has tell us all the women pay. Our women are mad, they have marched and started to hop and down. But the white man is down. He said, no, don't pray.
I loved every moment of since we started this project in the last few months, going around, getting sponsors, looking at the story and coming up with the cast and the whole event has been amazing. Yes. And it's I've achieved a lot, and so you know I can be happy and say yes, this is coming out well.
At this point in time, you can just relax and then find yourself that you've done something.
Yes.
These women have got to stop breaking hearts.
Yes, you can.
Stay with me now. Do they really want to die because of taxes? Barricade now, barricade. Come on.
Dignitaries from all walks of life and paraphernalia of government graced the green carpet of Ufok Ibaan with the very delectable spectacular as host.
And my sister, who's a very strong woman, and Abasi.
Who made it to the final stage with weeks and long hours of rehearsal? How well was the story told?
I auditioned to be an actor in this production. It was a mix of music, dance and acting, so I auditioned for music, dance and acting. And I passed the phases of auditions and started rehearsals and all as a dancer and a singer. I was yet to get a speaking role, although everybody on stage is acting, right? Both the dancers and the singers are acting, but I was yet to get a speaking role. It's been a hell of a journey. Like it's been crazy.
My name is Unique Cyrus. I'm an actor, but on this production for Ibaan, I'm a set designer. Honestly, this is my first time, but it's been wonderful. Even when I tell persons that this is my first time, most of the cast refuse to believe that this is my first time. I mean, kneeling, soaring. At a point, I had to enjoy myself a whole lot.
My name is Favor Sarakas. I'm stage manager for this production, Ufok Ibaan. For me, the story is very emotional. At first when I read the script, I'm like, oh wow, really? This was what the women went through just to end some certain things. And I'm like, I was imagining that, okay, if I was there, that means this story is very deep.
My name is Ofyong Edet Anthony Jinzali Audi Bassi, but you can call me Thintor Tony for short, or you call me Triple T. I'm a thespian, been in this industry since 1998, doing musicals, doing theatre, writing, producing now. I'm an OAP. I love theatre. Working with William Benson is not the first time, and working with the Duke of Shomolu as well has not been the first time. My first play with them was Loud Whispers, and that was when I played alongside Ali Baba as well. That was even very daring. This is more like a reconstruction of, or reconstructing history.
These women have got to stop breaking hearts.
And about the time that this happened, calling it the Aba Women's Riot was because Aba, if you put that word, was already solid before Uyo. So they were looking for something solid to put it on so the story can stay. But truly, they already had their own problems then. We had ours. And we are focusing on the people that we need to celebrate now. And the Aba Women Riot, it still stands, but we speak about an individual, a woman who went from just being a part of the fraternity and then into a wholesaler. She got into business. There's also the introduction of the Christian faith into it, and too many things, like everything making the whole pot of soup. But now that Uyo Kwaibom state is a whole on its own, some history has to also go with it, and we are not coming out to how do you say, want to say no, every other state has something to say, we self want to talk to. No, it is that we want to rewrite it, and they want to actually put it in the way it's supposed to be from this time henceforth, because it is what you teach us when we're little. That's what we followed through, and we are always very marveled to know that we also made errors, or better still, they made errors before. But this was not an error. This was because like I said, they didn't have a name of their own that made them whole.
Ufok Ibaan dwarfed the play Ibiom as it built on the songs, choreography and costumes to deliver a memorable experience at the show. The cast was led by the mercurial actor and ever-popular ex-Big Brother Nigeria housemate Offiong Edet Anthony, popularly known as Thin Tall Tony, who starred as the protagonist colonial officer Hills McDermott. In Time and Flesh, a bodily representative and descendant of Madam Adiara Edemabia, the distinguished Senator Udo Udoma, and his siblings graced the Ufok Ibaan production playhouse. On the heels of how this production came to life, Foluke spoke about the numerous sponsors and partners who made the production a reality. All of the gracious brands in sponsorship and other fast-rising brands in partnership with Spectrum Television and Planet Radio top of the list as media partners.
So we have to rely on our big stakeholders, MTN, First Bank. Those ones we have to hold on to and really bring out the story that, Oga, see, this is it too, all the way from Lagos. And we have great supporters. Yeah, they're great individuals that I can't mention them all, but they are.
A story well told, a presentation meticulously delivered. Ufok Ibaan is one more feather added to the many hats of the Duke of Shomolu production. This is a Spectrum Television production for Duke of Shomolu production.
Now this is a very emotional day for me, an emotional event. Seeing my own grandmother shot and carried away. I knew it would be emotional, so I decided to put down my brief remarks. As you all know, Madam Adiara Edem, the leader of the Ikorabasi women's protesters, was my paternal grandmother. She was a very successful trader and community leader. As a big trader, she was a wholesale distributor of products such as bar soap, salt, detergents, stockfish, and kerosene. Her traded volumes were so large that to guarantee her supply, and we're talking about 1920s, to guarantee her supply, she used to deposit large sums of money with such big trading outfits as GB Oliphant and African Traders Corporation. She also had a market stall and was a seamstress. A very enterprising woman indeed. But not only was she successful, she was also independent-minded. She did not mind going against the local norms once she was convinced about something. That was how, as the play shows, she converted to Christianity a few years after my father was born. She was a truly remarkable woman. Unfortunately, since she was killed in 1929 and I was born in 1954, I never met her. I don't even know what she looked like, because in 1929 our people had not yet developed the practice of taking studio photographs of themselves, which was a practice in Lagos and I believe in Warri, but not in Ikorabasi. But I used to marvel at her bravery and courage, and that of all the women who accompanied her in confronting the British colonial administration. Let me say something about the Ikorabasi women's protest. It is sometimes referred to as the Ikorabasi Women's War. The immediate cause of the protest was the introduction of direct taxation, which the women understood was going to be extended to trading and other activities principally carried on by women. Whilst the introduction of direct taxation in 1929 was resented by all, it was the women and not the men. Note that. The women who took the battle on, they were adamant that they were not going to pay any such taxes. Many of the women, like my grandmother, were traders. And they traveled around and had extensive connections, even then. The first protest erupted in Oloko, in Owerri province, on the 23rd November, 1929. It spread quickly to Aba and certain parts of Calabar province. But it was in Igwenga, which is Ikorabasi, now called Ikorabasi, that the protest came to a head. In the afternoon of Sunday, 15 December 1929, the angry women destroyed the buildings of the native court and part of the staff quarters. The next day, Monday, 16 December, the women were invited to meet the district officer, the gentleman you saw there, Mr. Whitspan. Even though some of the women were reluctant to go because they didn't trust the British, my grandmother, as their leader, convinced them to go. She reckoned that change can only come after engagement and negotiation. And 25 women were killed outright. More women were killed in the ensuing stampede. There was palpable shock that unarmed women who were simply protesting against government policy could have been mowed down in this manner. My father, who was then just 12 years old, I don't think he had a beard at the time, so he was invited to the scene by the British to identify the body of his dead mother. He was inconsolable and he was traumatized. I would like every single man in this hall to rise up. Every man should rise up.
What a show. What a show. What a show. I've read the book and I know a bit of the history, and absolutely Edgar did very well.
Before now,
Yes.
a lot of people, including, I've been thinking that this thing happened somewhere else.
Yes.
But from this place today,
Yes.
it has really shown people that the whole thing took place in Ikorabasi within Akwa Ibom State.
I'm spectacular on the green carpet, and it's still Ibium. At least we've come to the end of the show, and I'm being joined here by the Honorable Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Mr. Oman Essen himself. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How
Good
are you
evening.
doing?
I'm very well.
So good to have you.
Thank you.
I
Thank
saw
you.
you in the hall.
Yeah.
You're looking so happy.
Yeah,
and
excited.
fulfilled. Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us about your experience in there.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank Duke of Shomolu, Joe Edgar, for bringing it on. You know, it's long overdue that we need to tell the story, and not just the story, but some other stories he's been telling across the country. So I want to thank the Duke of Shomolu and his crew for bringing this to bear. The truth is that we need to begin to tell our story and look back at our history if we have to move forward. So this play, Ufok Ibaan, has just been able to clarify to Nigerians what the true story about the women war was all about. And he brought it on and tied it to, the leader of the women leader, which was the grandmother of, the grandmother of Senator Udoma.
I went to Akamandofia's house to drink. That was the first time meeting him in my life. And then it was a young guy seated in his house, and that guy said, "Oh, have you heard of the Aba women's riot that actually happened in Korobasi?" That was the first time I heard that in my life. And let me tell you about the whole thing. I'm a history student. I have a master's degree in political science. I specialize in Nigerian politics. I'd never heard up until last year in Akamandofia's house of Ikorobasi women's uprising. Never heard. And then Akana says, "Oh, it was Senator Udoma's grandmother." And I said, "Oh, that's what he was trying to tell me. Do a play on my grandmother, I will support you." That's what I hear now. So please, I want to call on everybody is VIP. Everybody is VIP. But I want to call on some special people to come up for us to have a photo up. Let me call my brother, the Commissioner for Culture, Arts and Tourism, Honorable Oman Essen. I have disturbed him, called him 2 a.m., 3 p.m. to make this happen, let me call on Uto Pana, MTN. She's also going to give us a good message. And then they said to me, have you spoken to Senator UJ Eswene? And I said, no, I don't know her. And they said, you need to talk to her because she did something quite remarkable in Nicolabasi. Thank you, Ami. So let me give the microphone to Mrs.
Men died on the spot. Their corpses were counted. 31 were wounded. The ones that jumped into the river, we do not know. In Utuet Mepo, some women also were wounded. Aba, some were wounded because it's Utuet Mepo, Aba, Calabar, Bende, all those Obolo, all those areas were involved, and it kept rising, spreading, and that's why the government took that serious stand. But to the glory of God, they did not die in vain, because what they stood for, they got it at the end of it. Glory be to God.
Very distinguished senators. Ibaan is there. Ibaan is fine. Ibaan is here. Ibaan Bakati. Ibaan is now here. It's with great pleasure that I stand in the midst of very distinguished people and even the audience, and to celebrate a great woman. And not only has she redefined history for women, but you can also see in the lives and times of their children that I have known and have admired. I salute Mama, God will bless her. We often at times underscore the role and the importance of a woman. I have a mother, thank God she's still alive, and I have 3 beautiful daughters and a wife. The strength of a woman is unbelievable. The strength of a woman is deep, very spiritual. Often at times, men, often at times discount the spirituality around the woman. We often at times underestimate and underrate the spirituality of a woman. I stand here today and I tell you that but for the kind of things great-grandma to me had done, a lot of our women today would not have the nerve or the strength or the vigor to talk. Even in the government today, you find that women are, most governments, I'm not talking about Akwa Ibom State now, around the world, despite how strong they are, women still account for the very less, or rather I wouldn't say less, the very underestimated and underrated in the society and in the government. And I stand here tall to say that going forward, we need to understand, we need to appreciate these women. Going forward, if a woman keeps her home, if a woman stands up in the morning, 6 o'clock, and does the things she does, I do not understand how we do not believe that these women will do even better in governance. Most of the times and places and businesses that have engaged, the very, very growth-oriented and futuristic companies have been run by women. My distinguished senator, God bless Mama. Mommy, God bless you. Looking ever so young. Thank you very much. God bless us all. Merry Christmas and stay safe.
Are powerful and that we are enough and our story is valid. So I want to thank you and appreciate you as I present to you the books for the women. Akwa Ibom